to make a better place.
I believe we are live. Oh, I gotta change. Wait, I gotta change this. Shit, how do I change this? No, I
Wait.
gotta.
Do over, do over.
No, I'm not doing. I can fix it. I can fix it. Just like that girl, I can fix it.
And now,
I
a
can
word
fix
from
it.
our sponsors.
No. Wait. I'm getting a little better. Haha, boom.
Nice. Look at that. Look at that.
There we go. Haha.
There we go. There we go.
I still look Mexican though. Whatever.
I mean,
Welcome to another episode of technically, is it three? It
I
could be
mean,
three.
two, three.
So no, see what had happened was
Let them know. Let them know.
we was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We had an episode with Raheem and
Sorry. Okay, I'm ready.
don't be like Michael.
I'm sorry.
Every time Michael's here and we do an episode, he's constantly bumping into the mic. Do not.
Okay.
Don't be like Sosa.
Okay.
So we did we shoot? We shot like no, it was one episode. So we did an episode 3 weeks ago.
But we did.
I had a blonde moment. And cables I was supposed to connect were not connected, and we was jamming and vibing and having a good old time.
Oh, that was a great time that we had too.
I was not paying attention, and later on when I sent you the link to double check, he's like, "There's no audio." I'm like, "Oh shit, what?" And
yeah,
we have video footage with no sound. So
unless you can read lips, then it must be a great episode to read.
I mean, we could do closed captions.
Highlights?
Actually, I don't remember what the fuck. I remember what was said because I was there, but to sit down and recall what happened is a whole nother story. But anyway, that's what happened with the episode. I have to actually go on YouTube and delete it because it's still up. But welcome to another episode of the Be Responsible Cup.
Welcome, guys.
Be Responsible Cup podcast.
Be Responsible podcast.
Well, we'll say episode 3.
Episode 3 officially.
We'll call it the freestyle episode.
Cause we just gonna be winging it, yo.
I kind of don't. I want to recapture the magic of the episode that did not happen. So, but we're having scheduling issues because
Life just be lifing.
people graduate and they get
And congratulations, you guys.
a master's degree, and all of a sudden, they think they're a full-fledged human being. But I'm gonna get it.
Not the full-fledged human being.
No, because eventually he's gonna need something. He's gonna come back and I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
But let's just say, I mean, it does take a lot to go throughout the 4 or 5, maybe 6, 8 years, depending on what you're going for in college.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. The stress, the anxiety.
Unless you're not a school person, no, it doesn't. Okay, you know what? Let me shut the fuck up.
You didn't undergo any type of stress before you graduated, sir?
It took me 11 years.
Okay.
To get 2 degrees.
Okay.
But my case, my whatever. Now sponsored by Smirnoff Ice Green Apple. No.
Tangy and flavorful.
Don't we have the orange one? No, my situation was a little bit different. I was smart when I was younger. So I started college at 15 and a half, 16.
Okay.
So my college experience was a little ruined because I was going to college with people who had licenses and were old enough to drink and so on and so forth, and I couldn't even vote. So
that part.
I went for I went for computer first, computer science.
Okay.
It had too many math classes. I am not good at math. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 × 2 is 4. Yay. Y equals mx plus b. Nope. PEMDAS, all that. Nope. I'm good. I'll leave that to you nerds.
What's the square root of 64?
Yeah. So I ended up changing my major to English.
Okay.
Because I was a writer. Then when I started taking English, they were telling me how to write, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not having this. I can't tell me how to express myself.
Okay.
So I left that, and I changed it to business, and then I was a saint. No, let me not say I was a saint. I was a good boy. Growing up. Don't say that.
Wait, I ain't saying anything. You saying everything.
I was responsible.
Oh, Okay, you kept your head in the books.
Yeah, no, like I didn't get in trouble. I didn't go out. I didn't
go
stay up
out,
late. So when I
right.
got to college, I finally got to experience all the
Oh, the what?
all the terrible things I should have been doing.
Like what?
Staying. You know what? That's not even true because it's not like I had any limits. I was just a little bit more. I guess I was less restricted. Socially, I guess.
Okay.
Because growing up, I guess you could say I was, uh, shit. I was isolated, but it was self-imposed isolation. There we go. That's
Okay.
that's what I was trying to reach. So it wasn't necessarily peer pressure, but then when I got to college, I saw all these people doing all these other things that I didn't do. Because, I had this concept of, oh no, smoking is bad. That leads to drugs. You'll get in trouble. You'll get arrested. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Drinking's going to turn you into an alcoholic. Yeah, like I had Smokey the Bear ads in my head and everything. And, that fucking DARE program, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. It's like only you can prevent forest
So I
fires.
was like, oh no, I'm not trying to be like that. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
This is your brain.
Yeah.
This is your brain on drugs.
So when I finally got to college, it was like, oh, so this is what I was. And I ended up, by my third semester, everything just, it was like a Linkin Park song in the end.
Crawling in my skin.
Yeah. Like I had, like my GPA was like 0.02 or something. Yeah. Then after that, I tried it again. Then, my stepdad had cancer, the situation with my sister, the situation with my mom, so on and so forth. Had to work and provide for them, yada, yada, yada. So I think after that, what was it? I tried going to... No, after that, I got academically dismissed.
Okay.
Then I went to Kingsborough Community College for, I think, 3 semesters.
Okay.
Because they had like a reform program. Basically for when you get kicked out. You took classes, and if you got your GPA back up, they let you get back into CUNY. So I brought my GPA back up to a 3.0. Then I left. Then I think I tried hostels. That didn't work out. I tried BMCC. That didn't work out. Then eventually, by that point in time, my sister had graduated junior high school. No, she graduated high school. And she was starting college. And then she looked into this college in Midtown called ASA, which doesn't exist anymore. But anyway.
Okay.
So I went with her to do like the, big brother, my big brother responsibilities to like go do the admissions and all that and so on and so forth. And
right.
I think I was so impressed by the admissions lady that I looked into it, and I got sucker punched into like going back to school, and then
not the sucker punch.
I ended up getting suckered into it, and she's like, "Well, it's not too late." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Oh fuck it, let's go." Best decision of my life, worst decision of my life. Best decision of my life because I finished. Worst decision of my life because I ended up taking student loans. But at least it was 27 grand. But whatever. Unlike some people who are like
student loans,
$6,000 in student loans.
Why does that even exist?
It does. I finished in 2 years though, so I ended up getting my associates in business administration and my associates in accounting, and then after that I haven't.
But wouldn't the world be a better place without student loans?
You know what?
Because like education when it comes to like colleges, isn't it free across like other parts of the world, like in Europe or even Switzerland?
They're not bad. I mean, they're bad.
Right.
It's kind of a ripoff.
It's a hindrance.
But at the same time, if you have the financial means and economic responsibility to actually...
Girl.
No.
Girl.
No. Because it's like the same thing.
Hold on.
No,
I'm from Brooklyn. You're from the Bronx.
No.
Who has, unless daddy's a drug dealer and mommy's a kingpin in someone's office? Where's the economic? Where's the economical means of going through college, even with fast food? Anyways, go ahead.
Let's be responsible here. It's basically like borrowing money from someone with the intention of taking a credit card, maxing it out, and not paying it back. Read the fine print.
Okay.
You don't have to take the whole entire... Listen, I'm not defending the system in any way, means, shape, or form.
It sucks.
some people need it, some people don't. But at the same time, if you know you never worked a day in your life, you have no money, no finances, no nothing, why are you agreeing to a very high amount of a loan of such a high amount with fixed APR, so on and so forth, if you know realistically you're not going to pay it back? Borrow within your means.
Borrow within your means. I get you.
Like I tell most people, go part-time.
Okay.
You don't always have to go with full-time. A full course load. Load. Oh my God, course load. Like you can always do 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you don't always have to. Because that's the thing. I think back in those days we were so pressured into you need education, this, that, so on and so forth, that we didn't really think outside the box, and we just felt like it was one of those things like you have to do in life. So I tell a lot of people, you don't have to. You could just take 1 or 2. Do what works for you.
Okay.
If you don't want to take student loans, apply for scholarships. Apply. Does FAFSA even exist? We're gonna leave that alone. Or if not, take 1 class per semester. Pay it off slowly, and then build your way up. And if later on you have the means to go full time, whatever the case may be, do that. But don't take the loan if you know you're not.
But remember before, like back in the day, I'm pretty sure it's not the same today, of course, because of the decline of people who actually attended to college. But remember back in before, like let's say early 2000 for us, like when we graduated, like around like either 1999, 2001, what the case may be, that you weren't able to like tap into your FAFSA or your financial aid unless you had like full courses, like full credit. So you have to have like a certain amount of classes in order to access financial aid.
So but then back then there was a bigger push for education, and back then actually having a college degree and so on and so forth meant something. But yes, you're right. You're right. Tap and Pell, you had to be full time.
You had to be full time in order to access.
If you were part time, you would only get a certain percentage. And then Tap and Pell was meant to only cover an associate. So if you fucked up and failed any classes and so on and so forth, you had those technically 2 years, because it was 4 semesters, whatever the hell the breakdown was.
Yeah.
But basically, if you didn't finish whatever you were supposed to finish within those 2 years, you wouldn't get Tap or Pell and so on and so forth.
So it's like.
And then they had work study and so on and so forth. I had partial scholarship. I had TAP. I had Pell. I'm one of those people. It ran out. Excuse me. By the time I dropped out, that's when they started making those heavy changes, and then the requirements just
skyrocketed like ridiculous. Overnight.
You had to do 3 hula hoops.
It's like, wait, what?
And bend over backwards and touch your toes with your knees and shit.
But you know what's so crazy? And it wasn't until like let's say YouTube became YouTube, or like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter before the X was like really hitting, where we just had like this baby boomer in equivalence to like influencers, and people start to see like as an influencer. We didn't
even have YouTube.
YouTube was on. We didn't have it, but it was in the slow coming up. It wasn't until like 2010, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, 2010, 2012.
Because when I graduated, I had a Motorola 2-way pager. Yeah. I didn't even have a socket. I didn't have a phone. I had a Motorola 2-way pager. Was a fucking device that pretty much was like Messenger before Messenger was Messenger.
That part.
So pretty much you could only send. They call it a 2-way pager, but basically you sent text message. It was cell phone kind of sort of. Someone, the other person had to have a Motorola 2-way pager too. Yeah. You made an account, you paid a little monthly fee, and then you were able to send messages in real time like you do on Messenger. Because then before that, the only other way was the actual pager, and the people that had pagers were either doctors, drug dealers, or prostitutes. I had a beeper and a pager. I'm not going to tell you why I had one.
I mean,
I had one.
If our followers,
because of the family business, if you know, you know.
Listen, if the followers have been listening to us at this point in time, I'm pretty sure you can put 2 to 2 together as to why you had a beeper and why you had like a pager.
I was spoiled. I wasn't spoiled.
Okay.
One thing I will say, me and my mom have a very complicated and complex and abusive relationship. But one thing I will say is that she did have her moments where she came through. And even though we had our differences, and even though at that point in time I wasn't the ideal son that she wanted, so on and so forth, when she could, she did. And I will always be grateful for that. There were more bats and cons than pros. Mm-hmm. But when there were pros, there were pros. Everybody knows that my stepdad, not my dad, my dad. Whole different story. We'll get to that. Actually, we're saving that for the whole father episode thing. My stepdad used to be a drug dealer and a hustler and so on and so forth. So it was part of the family business. She got me one because she thought it was cute. Technically, what had happened was the lookout had an untimely demise, and I ended up inheriting that person's pager because it was already paid for. Gotcha. And he was, I guess the ops took him out or whatever. They had the pager, so I thought it was cute. I got one, but one of my high school graduation presents when I graduated was the two-way pager. The next thing you know, 3 months later, I was at Sprint and got my own phone at 16. Yeah. So we did not have YouTube. We didn't even, matter of fact, we didn't even have streaming music. You had to connect your fucking phone to the cable to the computer and then upload the fucking MP3s on it, unless you had an MP. Not even, because Zune and the iPad did not come out until probably sophomore year of college. Okay. And that was about 2003, because I remember I had you remember Iowa?
Of course. Yeah. Who used to compete with Sony? Yeah, absolutely.
So Iowa and Sony were eventually everyone else caught on, but Iowa and Sony were the first two companies to develop the Discman that could read CDRW disc, so you could burn your MP3s onto,
and it's like reversible too,
and it was like a portal in another way. It was kind of like a portable media player. Yeah. So I had a Sony one. Then Iowa just popped. I thought Iowa and Sony were the same company at some point in time.
I'm pretty sure Sony would probably end up buying them out too.
So we didn't even have that. It was funny because I had the fucking CD thing and then the phone, and then I would have had the fucking headphones connected to the thing and looking at my phone, and then and then we had the actual numerical text messaging. It wasn't like we
had to hit for the letter R. You had to press 5 3 times for R.
You had to type you had to hit the number corresponding to the letter to the. Oh my god!
But look at this, right? Look at the frustration of this. Like of the people like us that's do good. The family says, oh, go to school and then graduate from college, and then after you graduate from college, you get a good degree and get a good job, yada yada yada, bing bing, right? Now just imagine the frustrations of coming to a place where you got your degree, you got your bachelor's or your master's, and just to see all of your education kind of spiral down the drain. Not like spiraling, but there's a certain tinge in the heart when you see a YouTuber of a little kid that making millions of views just showing how much they love to use toys, and that kid makes an infinable amount of money that you can never touch in your master's lifetime, with a master's degree. You know what I'm saying?
So here's my counter to that, though.
Okay.
Is that our fault or is that society's fault?
Okay.
Because that reminds me of a very similar conversation I had with someone. Teachers and doctors are underpaid.
They are.
But yet...
They are.
Footballers, basketball players, actors get paid...
Entertainment.
Millions and millions of dollars just to entertain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it really not culture? Is it like a job thing or is it a society thing? Because then that makes you think, what does society value more? The entertainment provided by the football player who makes a shitload of $1 million contracts, or the actual doctor who saves lives? Because yes, we could argue they got to go to training camp, they got to go to football camp. This is that, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you're bouncing a fucking ball up and down the thing.
Yeah.
Anybody with the right skill set, or anybody that's naturally born athlete or practices for X amount of hours a day, so on and so forth, can do the same thing. Granted, we could say the same argument for a doctor if you go to doctor school, but in a way, it's also kind of not the same thing. Because you operating on someone doing a triple bypass surgery is not the same thing as someone doing a 3-pointer.
Right.
There's a certain skill level in there that separates the two.
I
So I always, because I had the same perspective you had, but then I started thinking about whose fault is it really? Because then, like I said, what's the difference between the doctor saving lives
to the football player that makes a touch,
entertaining, getting paid millions when they're both providing services, but one actually saves lives, the other one, do we really need football in our lives?
No, that was me. So now let's come to the present tense of where we are right now, right? We do have what you mentioned before about the basketball players and people think they get paid millions, to opposed to the teacher or the doctor that's underpaid and they got a master's of doing like triple bypass surgery or even neurosurgery, right? So now here we have the beautiful influencers that have like 15 million people for no apparent reason, and they're like, oh my god, you guys, like I went to this doctor's office for dermatology and I didn't realize I had all this stuff on my skin, and the next thing you know, that office that kind of like was like dying because it wasn't making enough money as a licensed dermatologist agency now picks up because
we're talking about Keith Lee syndrome. Is that the right word? Not Keith Lee syndrome. Well, the Keith Lee effect.
Right.
I'm trying to say.
So like the thing is like there's a balance, right? Like we could say like influencers, right? But at the same time, it's like they help. There's some, not all of them, of course, that help pick up businesses and that help to kind of like navigate like narrow the attention to what should be focused on, either what is like medical, mental, to like clothing, whichever the case may be. They're kind of like the middle ground of like what you should be paying attention to.
And that's when we have to consider, how do they get there and who gives them that power?
They themselves. Because to be honest with you, it's like who are the top influencers? Like, and what age are they? They are between the ages, if not from like 16 to the oldest of possibly 36.
Also on the line and ask them. He should know.
Right. So it's like
I wouldn't know.
Right. It's young people guiding young people, saying, "Hey, youngins, this is what's up." If it wasn't for them, it's like certain businesses or certain things that kind of like that people should pay more attention towards or look out for certain things of, would go under the radar. They'll all, if that was the case, the point without influencers, we'll be stuck with whatever the media shows us, whatever like drama TV shows or like some type of like me with the Kardashians or whatever, like my 600 Kardashians, right?
I thought you were gonna say catharsis. I'm like, what?
Catharsis.
What?
You know what I mean? So it's like there's a balance, but at the same time, it's like, man, look at that.
A balance, though?
But look at that person that owes the money. That's my concern. Is like I feel sorry so strongly for somebody who's like $40,000 into student loans, but that's not a problem for like an influencer who never went to school but was on YouTube at Jump, but knows how to talk to people, but that kind of a thing.
But it wasn't always like that, though.
It really wasn't.
There was somewhere along the line. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. A lot of them owe it to COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, I will respectfully. That sounds just like fucking Sosa. I will respectfully say it never would have taken off the way it did. Because when you consider the type of content that was online and on YouTube and so on and so forth before the whole renaissance of streamers, influencers, Twitch, this, that, so on and so forth happened, is very drastic and very different. One, from a technical aspect, we didn't have the bandwidth for it. We had modems. We went from 14.4K PBS modems to, I think, 16 and 24.
Yeah.
Then eventually DSL, then broadband, now cable, whatever it is that we have now, gigabit fiber, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, fiber optics, I think, yeah.
Yeah, we went from like, what was it, Flash and Real Player to what we have now, to the point where like, we didn't even, like I said, we didn't have, YouTube was not as prominent as it was, nor was iTunes, or you remember Off Topic?
Off Topic, Sidebar,
Off Topic, Sidebar, Onomatopoeia, Microsoft and that media player.
I do remember
with the animation
of the yeah,
you were like play song, and then just put it on full screen,
right? And you just see like the wave in the front.
You would have your own little part. You be listening,
and you just by there in front of your Windows 95, like dancing in front of your screen.
In the morning with like fumes.
I'm raving. I'm raving in front of the screen right now. The lights are crazy.
That's a sidebar moment. I had to pay homage to that. I just thought about it the other day because I remember so many times I used to full screen that whole and just like put some neon on and just have my own little party. But it wasn't like that because then again, the internet wasn't what it was before.
Facts.
You couldn't just go. Another sidebar. You remember going to the library and looking up the Dragon Ball Z and seeing the moon pictures and the spoilers because we had somehow we just found out that there was anime and that Japan was like 3 years ahead, so you were over here looking up like Super Saiyan 4.
Of course.
These other things
and you would print it out. It just put it in you print it out, put it in your book bag. It's like I'm gonna hang this up when I get home.
And then you couldn't print in color because
it was black and white. And you can see the public library logo at the bottom of the.
They even have Yahoo. They had Netscape Navigator.
Oh, not the Netscape Navigator. Oh my gosh.
Used to track everything.
How far we've come. How far we've come.
And then the fucking librarians are like, why are you printing cartoon chicks? I'm like, mind your business. Mind your business.
This is Celavita, son.
Exactly.
You don't know shit about Celavita.
Respect on her name. But as I was saying,
if it wasn't for COVID, then if it wasn't for COVID, none of this would happen.
If it wasn't for COVID,
it's just the world that we're in right now, and that's just what it is.
Entertainment is valued more than actual anything else. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like
right. It has its pros and cons. Yes. It has without influencers, then certain things would happen. But at the same time, it's like, dang, COVID is like. We have a reason to be this perpetual attachment to devices now because COVID was there during the crucial time of communication. So I
was attached to my device before.
Right. I mean, I feel
maybe I should go to that C3.
You want to tell us about the show that we was watching before we jumped on? So that we're in the wrong profession.
Yeah, we're in the wrong profession. What was his title? What was his official title?
Digital addiction specialist.
Yeah. So wow. I was setting up. I was doing the setup before Rashid got here, and so basically what I started doing was I started kind of like deep diving and doing a little bit more research. So basically, I've been taking suggestions from people, like for example, there's that guy that does like ATL homeless interviews or whatever.
Okay.
So I've been kind of slowly diving in and watching other people's podcasts.
Okay, nice.
And other influencers and YouTubers and social media content, just to kind of see what's out there.
Okay.
Because like for us. I'm trying to
broaden our horizons.
Not really broaden our horizon, but I'm trying to stick to our vision.
Okay.
Because I think that's also another discussion I have with Sosa all the time. Like, I'm not trying to emulate, copy, paste, or be like, or compete with anyone else, or so on and so forth. Like, when I have my wonderful artistical moments, shit comes to me and I'm like, oh, we're going to do this, and that. Because my whole thing is, like, I don't want it to get to the point where, like yes, it's good to be inspired. It's good to pay artistical on. Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't want it to be like, oh, I saw this. I've seen, like, for example, 300 different podcasts. I deep dived. I did the data. I did metrics, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. This were their strengths. This were their weaknesses. This is what we're going to do moving forward now, basically. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Gotcha.
Like, I want us to do what we do best, which is vibe with each other and go from there. But I've been watching other things just to kind of, like, see what's out there, see what everybody else is doing. Okay. So, it showed up on my feed, and it was like, man addicted to dating apps they put some, they put one of those stupid titles that they put to, trick the algorithm into
of course, clickbait,
getting you to watch it, so on and so forth. And I'm like, oh, okay, Rashid's on his way. I got like 30 minutes. It's about 45 minutes long. I could put this in the background while I listen. And it was interesting because then I read like the description. It's like, this is a documentary series about people who are addicted to, social media, being online, their phones, their devices, so on and so forth. These are the stories. They made it sound like so SUB. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is kind of interesting. And then Rashid got here like 10 minutes into it. And then the first thing he sees when he pops in is some chocolate bald dude. And then his title, what was it again?
Digital addiction specialist.
And then this nigga over here starts laughing like a madman. And I'm like, yeah, I know, we're in the wrong profession. Like, we're seriously in the wrong profession.
It's like, it was definitely saying get you an 80s baby, because it's like, we grew up, we never had like these things before. So our ties to technology have never been so strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, the episode was definitely tied into a reason. She was dealing with grief and she never quite got over her her mom and not being there on time.
The lady, she had 4 cell phones, 5 tablets, and 4 computers. Jesus. And she would have her main phone, and she would just like alternate between all the devices, and she could not put them down. Should I have 2, one for me and one for the podcast, and that fucking drives me crazy as it is. I barely use my fucking phone as it is. Listen, That'd be texting me now.
Right. And I was telling you, I was saying the same thing earlier too. It's like, I have my phone and I have a laptop. Tell me how many times do I use my phone and my laptop? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are some days when I'm coming home from work, and I'm pretty sure we all are guilty for this, that we come home from work and then after we just kind of like shower, or even if you're too tired, you don't even shower, right? But when you shower, you get out of the shower, you just kind of like eat your dinner, you're just waiting for your food to come to either Grubhub or Uber Eats, whatever the case may be. You're laying down in bed, couch, or whatever the case may be, and you kind of like doom scrolling on Instagram endlessly, because like scrolling up gives like this kind of hidden serotonin and dopamine. No, we're on it to be on it, and because there's another human in the aspect of what you're watching, or maybe some visual like animation, you kind of like get caught in the scrolling aspect of it. And we're all a little guilty for that, right? And even the phone lets us know, like, hey, yo, bro, sis, you was here for like over 8 hours and 16 minutes.
No, there was a, I don't know what mobile game it was. It was a gotcha game. I don't know what mobile game it was, but it used to say that. It's like, hey, we seen you've been online for like 45 minutes. Take a break.
Yeah, TikTok does it. After 30 minutes, TikTok is like, yo, take a break.
No, 14th didn't do that.
No.
I'm trying to remember who it was, because there was a Squaresoft game.
That says take a break after a certain amount of time.
It was a mobile game.
It would never be a 14 though. Sure. But I think more applications to start implementing for the fact, like, hey, dude, you're a human being. Just chill back for a second. Continue a little bit later. Go drink some water. Hydrate yourself, whatever the case may be. No. Yeah, it's easy to get into the case, but never have I ever, stay on a technology device just to get away from life. Yeah.
Or you see it's like two rings in my glasses. I'm like I have eyes. I'm a real person.
And I kind of feel like anybody who's kind of like was born in the 2000s, we could take Sosa for instance. We don't know Sosa's life, of course, but I'm pretty sure he uses his devices or his like tablet or his phone more times than you and I combined. Easily.
I can't get them all.
Like off the bat. Yeah. You could see
in his defense though, I will say when you do talk to him, he does make eye contact and he does put it down. I will say that.
Okay.
I will say that. Why are you looking at me like that?
What? No. He makes eye contact. Say that.
Yeah. He will pay attention to it, and then 2 seconds later he'll go right back to it.
Right. And I feel like when it comes to like when it comes to diversity, I think it's like the younger generation can hold a conversation while on their devices. I think like people like on our age group, they can either put their attention to either or. It's like they're on the phone and they're focusing on the phone and they realize that they're like, oh shit, let me just re-engage with you. You know what I mean?
It's the norms. That's what it is.
It's the norms?
It's the norms again. Because you got to remember, we come from a place where we were told, speak unless spoken to when addressing someone, make eye contact, give them attention.
Right.
you know, we come from that place where it was a lot about etiquette and mannerisms and showing respect from the beginning. Like, even if you hated the fucking person, you know, posture, stand up straight, look them in the eye, shake their hand, so on and so forth, whether you like them or not, yada, yada, yada. So we kind of come from that.
Not a lot of them have that, though, yeah.
You think, what?
No, so not a lot of them have that.
They don't have that now.
Yeah, they don't have that now.
Like,
that common,
gangy,
that whole common courtesy.
Like,
and it's like, yo, gang, gang.
My name is like gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
That's why I have a shirt with my name right here. No. You call me this.
I think one of the things that's kind of like bothered me a little bit. It didn't bother me like tremendously, but one of the things I'm like, okay,
we sound like two old petty Magnum players, right?
I mean, listen, and we had to hear
like these homosexuals over here.
We had to hear it too, right? We heard it from the OGs growing up. Oh, these young whippersnappers don't know what it is these days to be a proper adult. Like, we've heard it. We heard the old gays. Oh my god, yeah, we heard the old gays. The old gays like, oh, you young gays don't know how good you have it today. It's like, and they're right. And was it you that I told you the other day that I feel like remember the conversation that we had earlier a few weeks back? You're right.
Some of them be
like, saying that.
They happen so in the moment, and I'm like, oh, this would be such good content, and then I can't even use it because next thing you know, there's like 60 memes, 3 pictures, 5 dick pics, 3 locations. Like, I'm alive. I hooked up. The dick was good, but I'm alive. I'll see you. You know, you still coming to Saturday? Yeah, okay, cool. You made it home okay? You didn't get murdered? Yeah, I did, okay.
I'm good.
And then I'm trying to scroll back to find the message. I'm like, you know what? Nah, never mind. It's okay.
So we was having this conversation. It was like, yo, you know, we ain't doing half the shit like our predecessors, the OG gays used to do back in the day. Back in the day, they used to have like 2 businesses. They owned like 3 houses. To be honest with you,
they're all gone. Are they dead?
I don't know. That's a good question. Or they're probably out on a cruise ship somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
And they moved out of state.
Yeah, they moved out of state, and they're watching Beyonce on a 4K HD TV somewhere out of sea.
Like besides you and Terry.
Yeah, all the OG gays that we kind of grew up with when we was 20 years old, and they were like in their 40s.
I have not kept. Well, let me not say it that way. Stuff happens to me, but. Right. You and Terry are the only 2 people that I know that I'm still in contact with that were from that particular era.
I mean, not to say that they aren't there. Not to say that they don't even like. They probably are tuning into our podcast, and they're like, "Yeah, that's right, young man."
We got 5. We're at 15 followers.
We had 15 followers, yeah. Hey.
I got the notification the other day. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I'm so sorry about that.
I'm gonna get like a Squirtle or something. Put the mic in the Squirtle and just put the Squirtle there. Because I don't know what y'all have against the mic, but
it's a gay thing.
Listen, it is a mic. It's not. I was just gonna say, it's not a flashlight. It's not a toy. It's not a Gakka 3000 stage.
Let me stop. So no, but like we. Like back to what I was saying before, is like the OG gays back in the day, they was doing so much, and even with everything that they was doing, they still had time to be like, hey, young gay or a young man, is like, these are the things that you could be doing while you are at this age, and they just dropped gems on us effortlessly. It's like they didn't even have to flash their money like the gays. The gays today, they have to show you that they drive a car, they got the new Tesla box, whatever the case may be, and they just out there living life and probably posting it on Instagram if they do that.
They got that good man pussy.
Right, okay. But the OGs, could you imagine if they had Instagram? Shut us down. Like they would be showing like us, like, you know, this is what it is. But they didn't have that. But they just strong conversations, and their intellect. Phone
conversations and mild text messages. Oh,
their intellectual, like, just like repertoire or vibrata. It was like, it's like an endless water flow. You could talk to them about anything and everything.
Motherfuckers used to send email.
What?
You remember letters?
I remember letters. I remember letters. Yeah.
People. No, for real. People actually used to actually send letters and talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of you are like, yo, y'all two is ancient. Like, how's y'all still alive? Like, yeah, I'm about to turn into dust any day. Like, were you around when the dinosaurs were there? You know, matter of fact, my fucking kids, you know what they told me?
What did they say?
They're like, were you around there was slavery and then were you part of the Underground Railroad? I'm like, you fucking bitches. You know what? Give me that fucking switch. Yeah. Guess who's not getting a switch too? They're like, you were probably there when the dinosaurs died. They're like, you're probably the reason why the dinosaurs died. I'm like, you motherfucker. Put you back in that embryo. Send you right back up that fallopian tube.
Not the fallopian tube, but that's yeah, we're just the new gays now. So we're the ones that if the younger gays are looking for any type of guidance, I guess we're like the outlook for them.
I charge.
Not charge. Just
you
talk.
You charge too. You're a fucking therapist.
Yeah, but if you
therapist,
could you imagine a therapist? Could you imagine a therapist terrorist like?
I'm the terrorist. You're the therapist. So, terrorist.
The therapist is like, yes. So tell me about your problems. You know, the answer to problems.
A grenade.
If you just toss a grenade at the situation, do you know where your boss lives? Or do you know who's causing that problem lives? Here, I can order from Amazon. Just put the sticker bumper on it, and it'll blow up and solve all your problems.
I think that's why I haven't pursued my bachelor's in social work for that, because I be that type of therapist.
It's gonna be an action movie near you.
Like, he got the feeling therapist. Like, nah, you go out there, you tell that nigga, don't you ever make me, and then you clap your hands and go like this while you. That's the type of therapist I would be.
with the main like antagonistic star in the therapist would be like somebody like Rosie Perez. Could you imagine seeing Rosie Perez?
I'd be right behind him. Like, don't let him talk to you like that. Show him how you feel. You tell her she's
with
wrong.
Her thick accent. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna grab this bomb and you're gonna toss it straight inside the window.
Right in there.
And you gonna tell that mother effer.
Fuck you, and then you're gonna walk away like Angela Bassett when she set the nigga's car on fire.
Right, and not waiting to exhale. Shit. Is it waiting to exhale?
I think it is waiting to exhale.
Yeah, it's a waiting to exhale. Yeah, exactly. You know, if they made that to the movie in 2027, we just want to cut of it. Okay, the therapist.
Exactly. You heard it here first.
All 15 of you guys.
You know what I was thinking about right now? You remember Nextel? And the chirp.
The chirp. Yeah.
Where you at?
Yeah. What was another one? Something with a B? Not a blip, blurp, whip, beep.
Because we had that.
Boost.
They became Boost. So eventually, because Nextel was primarily, I don't know the history behind it, but I know Nextel was primarily used by a lot of businesses, a lot of security companies.
Okay.
A lot of military and medical because of the whole chirp system and so on and so forth. Then eventually, because it ran on CDMA technology, and eventually cell phone technology started moving over to GSM, which was more universal, so on and so forth. And you couldn't really adapt the CDMA into GSM and so on and so forth. Then eventually, it kind of became a niche product. But then they saw the popularity with the kids and the whole chirping each other, that then it got liquidated, but it got rebranded as Boost Mobile. And then eventually the BlackBerry came out. That kind of, for a little bit, knocked everything out, because everybody and their mama wanted a BlackBerry, and they were
texting like crazy.
Texting each other and organizing. And then we had the Palm Pilot.
Oh, the Palm Pilot.
Which was like an organizer. And then eventually, people caught on, and Samsung caught on to it. Apple caught on to it. Then we had, the first Galaxy phone and the iPhone that took pretty much all of that. It was like a mini portable thing and so on and so forth. Blah, 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 yada, et cetera.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
I didn't have an iPhone until way later on in life.
I have to say, my first iPhone came from my ex, my first ever relationship. So he was getting.
Was he a hoe?
Huh?
Was he a hoe?
My first? No, my first was in a hoe.
The guy that gave, because everybody I know that has an iPhone is a hoe.
Hey, what are you supposed to mean by that? iPhone people are a bunch of hoes. What do you mean by that?
I'm speaking on it now. Like, God,
tell them why you real mad.
I'm hanging out with Michael too much. I'm speaking on it. Everyone that I know that has an iPhone
let's break this down.
A hoe. Has like this fucking collection of nudes of them in like every single post.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
With the sun in the background, with the moon, the stars in the bathtub, with the leg upside down, one testicle out, two testicle out, the foreskin back, the foreskin in, the foreskin out. Then they have a collection of the whole entire neighborhood's nudes in there. Along with like every possible angle of a video. And not only that, but then they have it backed up to the cloud. And then everybody either has a nickname, pet name, or baby mama number 1. Freak off number 2. Weekends only. Fridays only. Only buys me lunch. Ignore it. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so let's say now we already started this. We have to see this through. So iPhone people are whores, clearly. And what are the Samsung people?
The Galaxy people?
The Galaxy people, yeah.
We're the Emma Frost.
Okay, the Emma Frost is whatever hoity-toity, nose stick up to the sky. Like, I can do this because I don't need no program. I got extra X, Y, and Z, whatever.
I got everybody by their government name in my phone.
All right, government. And a picture too, right? Yeah. Okay. So you could scroll and see faces now.
Who am I going to throw under the bus right now? Let me see. Who am I going to...
And then we got the Google phone people. So what are the Google phone people?
They don't exist.
Google phone people don't exist. Okay. Am I missing anything? So we got the Androids, we have the iPhones.
Well, you got to consider Google phone is BOIP, so technically they need an internet in order to function.
That part.
It's just like the Snapchat people. Everybody that I know that wants to talk to you on Snapchat or WhatsApp is either a liar, a cheat, a drug dealer, a prostitute, a scammer, or hiding something because of the whole anonymous situation. Only even WhatsApp can't read your messages, blah 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 blah. Same thing with the Snapchat. You take a screenshot, somebody took your screenshot, disappearing pictures. I'm like, if you really want to talk to me that bad, why can't you send it? Like, well, what difference is there between sending a text message and sending it on Snapchat? Because it's gonna lead on Snapchat, and you're gonna disappear.
Well, there's no, it's gonna disappear after a while. And
you're gonna have your affair. You have your entanglement with someone else, not me. Don't talk to me if you're married.
That seems to be a lot. Something happened on Snapchat recently that I should know about. That you were speaking to somebody that was married, low key, so they figured that they could send you a picture of their boobies and it disappears, but that would never happen because.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
I've had this conversation like 5 times this week. It's funny you say that because
I take it that we hate disappearing
pictures. No. I hate those too. But one, I was never into it. I only made one for one to register, my old username, the sarcasm, because I thought it was cool. And I'm like, I don't want no one else having this screen name. And then 2, I had to make one for the podcast for obvious reasons. Those are the only 2. I get more spam than anything else. But no, I was talking to Snug. Because we were talking about Sosa. Because apparently he had a crush on Sosa or something. And then I'm like, Sosa's straight. Like, straightest person I ever met. But then I was telling him that the funny part is when me and Sosa hang out, and when we're at work and you put us together, he will attract all the men, and I will attract all the females. And it's just registered because you said the whole booby thing. Because it's to the point where like they're like, oh, you so tall, and la la la. I like standing next to Sosa, and then they're like, that breast is all over my face. Like, let me see your back.
I don't mind boobies, but
and you just see Sosa getting hit on by every single, obviously. And then it's funny because he always attracts the kind of like.
The old gays?
Nah, he attracts like all the kind of like younger, kind of like
bi-curious or straight curious.
Nah, the kind of pretty bottoms, I guess is the best way of saying it.
Oh,
being
okay.
PC about it. The kind of like femme fatales. Upkept ones with the with the purses and the
just
laughing because they're like, and then he looks at me. And I'm like, nah, bro, that's your battle. He's like, wait, he's like, nah, you gay, he's gay. You fight him, have a gay fight. I'm like, I'm not fighting for you.
No, a gay. We don't fight like that. It's
I'm like, excuse me, sir. He's like, I thought you was my bro. I'm like, no, just tell him respectfully, bro. No, I'm straight like that. Keep it moving. He's like, he's not listening. He's talking about he wants to take me back to his house. I'm like, tell him you're not going to his house.
Right.
But you know what I feel though, because it's the same thing with the females. When we were at Penn Station, there was one that like. I had to hide my ID because she's like, oh, Santana, what kind of name is that? Blah, 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 blah. Her hands started slipping and everything. And I'm like...
Her hands started to slip where?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. There's no part of your body that her hands
did not explore.
Wow.
And then her friend is just right next to her watching the whole thing. I'm like, you want to put your hands in there too? Because, I mean, might as well. I mean, she already explored. Might as well make it a 2-for-1 because...
The way that I would scream like I was on Aliens Ripley, like, oh my God, don't touch me. Like, that scares the shit out of me.
I had to refrain from punching her because you know how I feel about personal space.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know I do not like being touched unless I
But why invite the next person to touch you if you don't like people in your personal space like that, though?
Well, sometimes you just be bored. No. You know, it's been a while. No.
Oh my gosh, Dexter.
I was feeling like Celine Dion and Deborah Cox. Like if they ever did a duet together.
What would that song be like? How did you get here? And let's take My Heart Will Go On.
Just smash it together.
Just mash it together.
I mean, she wasn't ugly either, but it was just a fact like, take a hit.
Oh my gosh.
Respect personal space, because then like. It's like I said, I honestly don't think I'm the most attractive person in the world. I'm probably average, below average, somewhere between like 5, 6 out of 10. That's my personal opinion. People will say otherwise. So when it happens, I just laugh because I'm like, no, because then you figured it would be the other way around. Because then whenever we're working solo or we're not working as a unit, it's the complete opposite. I'm like, but when you mentioned the whole boobies things and everything, I just thought it was funny because it's kind of like been the topic of conversation at work for like the past 3 days.
Like, she's like for me, like I do my dance cardio fitness, and so
they love that shit.
Yeah, they do.
I can only imagine the way they look at you.
At the beginning, oh my God, at the beginning, the
How
ladies.
many hearts have you broken in dance class?
Probably like over 20, 25 of them, because they thought that I was somebody that they could just get up and ride up. Like one woman told me blatantly, she's no longer a member, of course. But she told me.
She left, or because you had to like.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just called her like I was like on the way to work. She was like in the neighborhood, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, you know what? You so sexy. I would ride you till something or the other." Like when I heard "ride you," I instantly like went Ripley, and then like Ripley face turning as the alien's mouth is like close to the face, like
just a little bit,
right. And it's like, ride what, sweetheart?
That face.
You want to ride my belly? No.
She said that face, baby. She's like, you do private. I'm a private dancer.
Dancing for money. Do
She's
what
like, you do private dances. She's like, you do private dances. I'll pay you double. Have you ever been proposition?
I've not for my
because you do classes.
I do classes, and people do say, "Oh, do you do private lessons?" Now, if it's singular, I'm like, I don't do single one-on-ones. I do groups.
Because now I have questions because I'm curious about that.
Gotcha.
So are your classes mostly female or male, or they're mixed?
No, I've females.
Because you requested, or that's just the audience?
That's just the audience. So the majority of them are female. The males that do show up or happen to be older, but then they're like, girl, they're like,
okay.
It's like, use their dancing.
So they're all pretty much lonely housewives who haven't gotten any in a while.
Pretty much.
So have any of them like either propositioned you or try to be your sugar mama or be like, well, we already know that lady said she was going to ride your face from here to tomorrow.
Yeah, I never saw her again. I was like, never. No, they yes and no. So yes, they have proposition for me to like, let's say, come to their estate and just like, like, oh yeah, me and the family, right? It's gonna be a family thing. It's gonna be us and the family gonna be dancing together, and I'm like, okay, radar. But
none of them like directly was like.
No, it's like I just want
answers on me. I want you to make me feel like a woman again.
Run in the hills. You hear me? I would like, no, don't touch me, you nasty woman.
Let's dance with our clothes on.
I have to. Oh my!
The extra suit. I make too much fun with this.
Any attraction is appreciated. Any and every attraction is appreciated, and I love the fact that opposite sexes are attracted to me. That's good to know that, I guess, in the Tillery of Rashid, I guess. But yeah, nah, Craig, ain't happening.
What if they came with the right price?
No,
even if they came with the right price.
No, Dexter.
Why am I always trying to pimp you out? I don't know why I'm always trying to pimp you out.
I mean, no. It could be like $150,000 to like $3,000. I'm not.
But you would cuddle with them though.
I would. That's different. I can cuddle you. For sure. I can cuddle you. Well, but if you asking me to like finger the roast beef, that's not gonna.
The pastrami.
RV, we got meat. Like that's not gonna happen.
What is it? The pastrami butterfly? I mean, it's not always pastrami. Listen, sometimes you have the bologna, sometimes you have the roast beef.
I'm glad you have that vocabulary or dictionary to know the variations of it. I pray to God that is not my case and only men's come up to me, okay? I like the men's.
Oh, that's
the
right.
burlier,
you and Terry both have a...
Yes. I like the burly guys. I don't like
it's not that threatening, but whatever.
Oh, God, no. Take me away, Rainbow. Take me away. Fly me to the moon.
Yeah, I'd be like, hello, Rashid.
Oh, no. It's bad enough every time when I see the Predator's face from the Predator.
That is not what it looks like. That is a lie.
Like, when I see the Predator's mouth, I'm like, I automatically think that's exactly how the vagina looks like.
I don't know why you homosexuals picture it that way.
Because it's
not that... I mean, if it looks like that, they need to go see
Jesus,
a priest,
an exorcism.
They need to get a hold of your body.
You ever saw that movie Teeth? By the way,
yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what was also up. Just to re-verify why my gayness is gayness.
I was just genuinely curious because I've heard stories. You know what? I should ask Terry those questions, even though I'm not going to get the same answer. Mm-hmm. But I just heard stories, with propositions and so on and so forth. But then I'm always trying to pimp you, so whatever. It's fine.
I mean, sure, you can pimp me, but not to women.
I mean,
listen, I'm pretty sure there's some Japanese person that wants me to.
Hey, they pay more and it's less drama. Pay more, less drama. We got to get that financing for your cuddle business going.
We got to get the financing for this podcast.
That too, but more your cuddle buddy business. Did you think of a name? Actually, no, don't say the name because then they might steal it.
That's true.
We're gonna come back to that.
But yeah, I mean. It's going to be a pretty good cuddle business for sure.
But ladies, cuddling is fine. Everything
cuddling
else is
fine.
Clothes optional or no?
Yes, clothes mandatory.
It's
absolutely.
Your
yeah, it's pajamas, bro. It's like
you got to come out in a hazmat suit.
See the theme.
Let me just lower his face mask. Let me just come up with the what is it, the thing that tests the radiation. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, it's like you just see like a whole bunch of oxygen air just like spruce down over my.
Like, I need to take a sonogram first. Like, here you go. Oh my god.
Are you ready for a cuddling session?
What is it called? A Geiger meter or something like that? I forgot the fucking
Geiger
name.
Meter?
Geiger counter or something like that.
Gotcha.
I forgot the exact
name. No, I mean, I have no problem with cuddling with... It's going to be clothes on with everybody. It's like, yeah, pajamas or, even like some TLC red light special type clothes satin.
How you gonna manage? Is it just gonna be like you should probably save that because we got like 2 minutes left. So I have questions about that whole Cuddle Buddy business. I'm trying to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think that because, the world is missing touch, especially in New York City, especially cuddling somebody that is of color will be more popular. I think personally.
Don't sound like Terry. Okay, I had a 6
I take it
hour
back.
phone conversation
I take
with
it
him
back.
last night.
Yeah.
Don't start that whole struggle of the POC and this.
I've
this
never.
And that. And no.
I have never, and would ever.
I'm sorry, Terry, but you know what you do. You know what
I have never and would never. We all equal in this, lovely game of life.
I gotta tell you a story. We're gonna go to the store after this. We're gonna take a quick trip to the store. Hopefully, we'll see some gray sweatpants out. But we're gonna stop right here.
Thank you so much for joining the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the freestyle episode 3, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys on episode 4.
Be responsible.
Of Be Responsible podcast. You didn't say your intro, by the way.
I didn't. It's fine.